Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming. Um, I'm Deann. If you're new and haven't met me before, and my channel is Deann Shield Maiden Tarot, as you know, and I do readings on personal, political, and paranormal. And paranormal is my absolute favorite. And so I'm so happy today that I have got Tanya Stingley from Tea Time with Tanya, and she loves paranormal. We have a show every Friday on paranormal. And today we've got the Cool Crone, and I love that name. I love the name, the Cool Crone. And I was so excited last time to have you because we did part one of the witch trials and talking about that. And everybody, you guys in the chat said you liked that so much you wanted a part two. And one person said, I want this to be a series because they thought this and really, as I was looking, we could make a series. We could go on and on and on. There's so much that an hour doesn't cut it. So, but today I've got a couple of videos that I am going to try. I'm gonna get this down. And I want to tell you guys, thank you. I reached my 5,000. I
Good.
was shocked. It was one.
Congratulations. Great.
It was
Great.
1:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I looked at my phone, and why I looked at my YouTube dashboard at 1:30 in the morning, I don't know, but I looked, I'm like, I go, ah! And Dale goes, what? I'm like, I made 5,000. And so he's like, oh, that's nice, honey. Go to sleep. But I was so excited, and we're going to plan a party for you guys, and maybe Colleen, if you want, you could come too. If you want, we're going to have a party, and I'll give away some rollerballs and some readings, and we'll maybe do some personal readings for people, and just kind of have a little celebration. But I just got to have somebody show me how to do the wheel thing, where you put hashtag manifest and everybody's name comes up. Do you know how to do that?
It's an add-in to StreamYard. Yeah. If you just when you get off of this, if you just go to Google and just say pick a winner StreamYard, you'll get the article and the link of how to download it and how to do it. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Okay. I'll see if, because I've been up to this time writing every name down, putting it in a bowl, shaking it up, and pulling it. But when you get so many, it's hard to do that. And I have arthritis, so I'm going to try, and maybe I'll holler at you if I get stuck. But anyway, thank you guys. I think I can. I made that website. I stayed up all night, so if I can do that, I'll figure out this dang game thing.
That's right. You'll be fine with it, but I'd be happy to help.
Oh, thank you. And I definitely want you there. So
great.
I just want to tell everybody thanks for coming. And I've got it on 5 minutes. You have to be a subscriber in order to comment or ask a question. We're not doing personal questions. If you have a question about witch stuff or anything that you think we can answer, put it in the comments, capital letters, and we'll try to get to what we can. But I did it the 5 minutes so we don't get the troll. What is his name? Or Tarot Destroyer or any
Tarot Destroyer.
Oh no, you got hit by Tarot Destroyer?
I think everybody's been hit by Tarot Destroyer.
I got hit by that person a long time ago.
Yep, they're still going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he
blocked
changes
them forever. Block them from your channel.
I did. But I just, in case he changes and comes, because sometimes I block him and he'd come back on another name and come back on another name. So I just put it on 5 minutes because they say you're less likely to get it. So everybody, we're going to talk about the witch trials and witchcraft and what it is and what it means. And so I've got a little video that I haven't seen the whole thing. I'm going to try to play for you guys first. It's probably the most lengthy one. The other ones are really short, but it has to do with something I started to watch. I grew up in Baptist church, and then I went to every kind of church. Catholic Church, you name the church. I went to the church trying to find the truth. And so I had always felt guilty because I was attracted to tarot cards and herbs and all this stuff. And I was told that was wrong of me. So this kind of made me think it's interesting. So it's about that kind of stuff. So let me put it on and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to try to do it first. So, okay. So share screen. All righty. Let's see here. Okay, let me find it. Okay, is that it? I think this is it. Okay. And we'll start.
Let's talk about witchcraft. I've spoken about this topic before, but I'm going to talk about it again because people love it. So first of all, what is witchcraft and why is it so demonized? So witchcraft within itself is manipulation of energy with intent. So it works similar to how prayers work, similar to how manifestations work. Everything is energy. Everyone is energy and we're all connected by it. If you understand the law of divine oneness, you understand that I'm connected to you and you're connected to everything that there is. And you can also argue that prayer and manifestations are different forms of witchcraft because what you're doing at the root cause is alchemizing your energy to achieve a certain result. People think that witchcraft is this really mysterious thing, but all you need for witchcraft to work is emotions that are charged with intention. Emotions or energy in motion charged with intention is all you need for any witchcraft to happen. This is also the same method used in prayer, but also in manifestations. For example, ever heard of the feeling is the secret to manifestation? So you have to feel the emotion, charge it with your intention for it to manifest. Yeah, same concept. Now, I know you're probably thinking, I understand how that applies to manifestation, but how does that apply to prayer? Because surely I'm just talking to God. When you're praying to God or whoever you believe in, there is two things. There is the words you're saying, which is your intention, but then there is the second thing, which is the emotion. And I'll tell you where that comes from. The emotions that charge your intentions during prayer come from the conviction you have in whatever God you believe in. The feeling or the emotion of conviction you have in the name Jesus Christ is the emotion. So Christians believe that the name Jesus Christ holds so much power, authority, and conviction. So that is the emotion that you already have subconsciously when you're saying whatever intentions you're saying. God protect me, God give me this, God give me that. That's the words, that's the intention, but the extra juice that charges the intention is the conviction you have in the name Jesus Christ. The same way a Muslim can achieve the same feeling by believing that the name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has power in it. And I know you're thinking that, Nusla, I understand what you're saying, but witches have tools. They have all these things that they use and it's evil. What is that? And yes, witches do have tools, but that's not where the magic happens. No pun intended. Like I said, at the core of everything is emotions charged with intention. Those tools simply represent different parts of their intention. It's one thing to have your intention charged with your emotion in your mind, and it's another thing to produce or to create a physical reality of it in front of you. What they have in front of them are just tools. Where the magic is happening is within them. Creating and producing a physicality of that which you know and believe to be true about yourself strengthens your manifestation or your prayer. So that's just what it is. It's similar to how Christians also have their own rituals that represent different things. Eating the blood of Jesus Christ is one thing. They're literally bringing the physicality of that which they believe to be true about themselves. Even things like rosaries, you can wear it around your neck. It holds your intention. It holds your energy. Muslims have this. It's called subha. They hold that. They connect with it. They have their intention in it. And I know you're thinking, but Nusula, witchcraft is evil. They do things like blood sacrifices. And the first thing that comes to my mind is Jesus was a blood sacrifice, if you actually think about it. But I know that's not what you mean. Some practitioners do things like offerings or sacrifices. It could be fruits. It could be animals. It could be a whole bunch of things. The offerings or the sacrifices stem from a very, very long time ago. Even in the Bible, where God rejected Cain's sacrifice and accepted Abel's sacrifice, those things. These are very ancient practices that have been carried on from generation to generation, and some witches still carry out and stuff. Significance of offerings or sacrifices represent different things depending on the practitioner. It could represent things like strength, courage, submission, forgiveness, whatever the case is. Even tithing in church is just a different form of offering because you're planting a seed. They tell you, come at the front, plant a seed, give £10, give this to plant a seed. Then people think, well, how about human sacrifices? Because I hear that's the thing. And a lot of those misconceptions stem from things like slavery and colonization. It wasn't until the slavery era where our ancestors started fighting the colonizer and proclaiming what was theirs. During this battle, our ancestors would consult with their deities or their gods at the time, consult with their ancestors for wisdom and knowledge on how they can proclaim what was theirs. And in the instances where they unalived one of the colonizers, they will be thankful to their ancestors. For example, the Haitian Revolution, the colonizer was so shook that they actually won the war through with these practices that they had to demonize it. From then on, they had to teach the captured slaves and their generations that it was wrong to practice this because it involves human sacrifice. Really and truly, this was propaganda, and it was a way to demonize their practices so then they can remain powerless. You can honestly talk about this concept for a long time, but this is the basics of it. And witchcraft to me is not any different from prayer and manifestation. It's literally the same concept. One is demonized, the other one isn't, but it's the same energy at the core. Also, guys, off topic, but I want to tell you that I have created a course for every single one of you guys on their healing journey, on their spiritual journey, whether you've been on the journey or you're just starting. I have created it. It's in the link in my bio. It's called your self-healing course.
Okay, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing. This was my first time seeing the whole thing, but I just watched a few seconds of it. But it made sense to me. What do you guys think? I mean, they're similar. There are similarities. You know, you have incense, Catholic Church. They have the incense. They have the rosary. They have the holy water. They have put your money in the thing and you will get more back, you know. They always tell you that. Put your tithes in if you want to be able to pay, and you'll get more back, like planting seeds, like they said. When you pray, it's an intention. You believe what you pray. That's faith. Well, that's intention. I think it's the same thing that witchcraft is, you know. You are praying for something you want. You have faith in it. You visualize it for it to come to pass. It's just one might say Allah, one might say Great Spirit, one may say universe, one. So I don't know. But Colleen, you do Wicca. So how do you feel about that video? What did you think about that?
Well,
Since
I mean,
know that's your religion.
correct.
So
yeah, she is really correct. I mean, intention, prayer, the law of attraction, all that stuff is based on raising your emotion, which is raising your vibration, and then your intention of what you want. Now, the big difference here is that somebody who practices Wicca is going to say, and it harm none. You know, I want this as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. That, by the way, is very similar to the Hippocratic oath that doctors take. Do no harm, right? The whole idea is that, I can use all of my so-called powers, to manifest these things to help someone else manifest them, as long as I'm not hurting anyone. So that means, I can't force somebody to fall in love with me. That might not be good for them. Right. So I can't force someone to do that. I can't manipulate people. But I can certainly, wish for someone to have a better outcome someplace else if I don't want to be around them. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just saying you're a shitty neighbor, so I'd like you to find a new house. Nothing wrong with that. Yes. Right? Yeah. And you'll be happier too. Yeah, and you'll be happier too. But I do want to say that between witchcraft and organized Western religions such as Christianity, I mean, they pretty much, they didn't invent anything. They pretty much took most of the tenets of the agricultural religions, or whatever you want to call it. They didn't take from Hinduism. They didn't take from Muslim or Islam. They didn't take from Judaism. They took from paganism. They took all of the pagan holidays, all of their ideas about stuff. They slapped a coat of paint on it. 400 years later, they wrote a book and said it was from Jesus. But, so they appropriated all of the tenets of Wicca, and right down to the holidays. I mean,
well, yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too. Like the Yule log was pagan. The mistletoe, I don't know, mistletoe maybe, but the just different Easter egg was pagan. Easter eggs is like birth or something like that. A lot of the things that we celebrate, Christmas tree, things like that, all came from pagan. Pagan. What I understood is I'm Scandinavian descent, so from Viking descent, and they were pagans. And what they did is that when the pagans fought the English and they lost the war, and they lived there, they didn't want to give up their beliefs. They were forced to try to. So they incorporated some of the English beliefs with the pagan beliefs. And then I think the English did that too. So it kind of became
Well, they weren't English yet. The Vikings were there before they were so-called English. They were there fighting other countries like the Gauls, which became France, and the Celts who had been there from, time immemorial. And the Celts at one point had conquered a lot of Europe down into Spain, Iberia, most of what is now the United Kingdom. And then they lost a lot of what is now England. And England kind of somehow won out. And I think that's because of the Roman Empire. I think the Romans really came and got a big toehold in that area of the world and in most of Europe, by the way. And the Romans came and they didn't have religion, the Romans. They had their gods and they had the things they believed in, but they could give a crap. They could give a crap about one god. They had like hundreds of gods, so that was their thing. It was when Catholicism and Christianity were really taking over from after Jesus and everything. And it really was several hundred years after his death that the church really got organized. And then they just started grabbing everything that the pagans had continued to practice. They just took the rituals, they took their gods and goddesses and made a lot of them saints. They used a lot of the local deities that had been worshipped. They incorporated them into being saints. And they just slowly but surely, and they did at that point, the church did incorporate the local customs, like, the maypole for May Day, and, Christmas trees for Yule. But a lot of that stuff from the Vikings, by the way, and the other Norse cultures, and a little bit of the Gauls and even some of the Roman stuff, that all got amalgamated in the islands of the United Kingdom. And so by the time the church came along, they were already doing Yule trees. They were already doing Easter eggs. They were already doing a lot of those things. And the church just had to figure out a way to not turn people off and to get them to still come to church. So they built their churches on the holy sites and all of that stuff. So I've talked enough.
I didn't know that the Bible was written like 500 years or something after Jesus died, I think.
Yeah, about 400 years after. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I tell you a story and you tell Tanya a story and she tells somebody a story, it's always going to be a little different. So 400 years, later, and these has been passed down from word of mouth and word of mouth and word of mouth. And how, how did that not get some of it changed?
No. Because we have to get facts. Facts gotta be first. Facts gotta be first. When the Romans wrote the Bible, and the Romans did write the Bible, it was after
the Romans?
Yes, the Romans, because Rome, the old Rome became the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. The city of Rome, the state of Rome, dissolved and became the Roman Catholic Church. The capital of Rome is buried underneath Rome in those catacombs. All the riches, the bank, everything. This is important, and I'm almost upset.
I'm listening.
Religion was forced upon people, and it mirrors witchcraft. It was stolen, lock, stock, and barrel from the libraries, the vast libraries of Alexandria in Africa. Okay, the learned people, the giants, the Cyclops, all of these beings were educated. They could read, they could write. They were not monstrous deities. That's what they were introduced to us as. They were something other than what we are. Religion was based off of all these old writings, amalgamated and put together for one reason: control. Period. Period. Everything that they put in there was to control the masses. This was the beginning of the one world rule. Okay, understand that. The same thing that they're trying to do now is what they did in the Bible. That whole thing was to bring the world under one God, one government, and one form of currency.
Yeah, and you're so right. And
People.
yeah, and the big difference here with paganism or Wicca, I mean, I don't think they called it Wicca back then, but with the pagans and then the so-called organized religion is in paganism, everybody's a part of it. You have a personal relationship with your deities, your god, your gods and goddesses. In the church, you look at one person, one man, the priest or the whatever, that person controls everything. That's why they have a pope and then the bishop, the cardinals, and then the bishops and all that stuff. It's very military, this whole complex here. And you have to follow their rules. Whereas in paganism, you learn the rules of the universe through your own spiritual evolution. And they couldn't stand that. They couldn't allow for that because it wasn't in their control. You're absolutely right, Tanya. Yeah.
Can I insert something in there too, though? With the paganism and the Christianity, with paganism, which all the people, everybody who had some kind of belief was a pagan.
Yeah.
What Christianity did was to take the woman. The one thing that Christianity did was take the woman and make her the villain.
Yes.
Blame the woman for all the ills of man, because in every other primal religion, the woman had the power. It wasn't the man. So Christianity took the power from women, and that's why we got the name witches. It was to take the power away from us, to demonize us, to take our name, take our power, take our essence, and make it illegal, demonize it, and then literally start to kill women, dunking them in the water, making them
you
say,
die, you're not a witch. You live, you're a witch, and we're killing you.
Yes, but torturing women until they would, out of just wanting to take another breath, say that they were a worshiper of the devil just to survive. And that was, people have to understand what they did to women back in those days, which is so written about. That is exactly, they took that model. It was like the women, those old white women, those young white women were the prototype of how they were going to break slaves. Think about this. And
well, they made all the peasants slaves with the religion. I mean, that's, they made them all slaves. And they gave them.
I know they used to make them. They used to. What I heard, you know how they have confession in the Catholic Church. What they used to do is they used to whip people, put them in stocks publicly, have them throw tomatoes at them. You had to tell your sins in public so you could, and beat yourself. Some of them did, and it was, it was really sad because I felt like that was to control you. They knew what you were going to do. The confession, they knew what everybody's sins were. They could hold any of your bad things against you. They would publicly, humiliate you. That's not love. That's not the love that I was brought up to learn. It is upsetting, and I watched a show about who was it? His daughter was Lucretia Borgia, the Pope Borgia. Oh my gosh, that guy was, and all those cardinals and stuff were so corrupt. They had people murdered. His son murdered people. His daughter poisoned people. I mean, and I'm like, they're telling other people they should wait until marriage, and he was screwing around with everybody, and he was married. It just, it kind of, that did open up my eyes to thinking, my gosh, these people are the head, and these people you're supposed to look up to them. And they're doing everything they're telling the others not to do. Yes.
Say that again, Tanya. What'd you say?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. That's true. And I think I heard somebody talking about this topic. I wish I could remember their name, But they were saying that in the very beginning and organization of the church, that putting your sons, especially if you had multiple sons, right? Your oldest son would be kind of going into the family business if the family even had a business. But the second sons didn't really have a purpose, and so they would recruit them into the church, and they were basically sex slaves. I'm sorry, but that's messed up. That's just really,
Yeah, and look
really
at the
messed
women.
up.
The
Look at how
nuns,
they were.
the nuns. Oh my gosh.
They
nuns
Those
were
treated
of you
women
guys
terrible. The
from,
nuns.
oh my gosh.
Nuns were
That's
also
all the
sex.
nuns were. That was
That's right.
the priest brothel.
Yep.
So many infants, so many babies,
Buried
illegitimate
under the
babies
churches.
just murdered,
So,
thrown away.
or did they give rise to that, favorite organization of the Catholic Church, the orphanage? I mean,
Yes.
that's another
And
outlet
look how
for
they
those
treated
babies. Oh, that terrible!
look how the
Just terrible.
nuns treated Native Americans. They would beat the Native
Oh,
Americans for speaking their native
terrible,
language, beat them,
terrible. Well,
and
they weren't
shave
the
their
only ones.
heads.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones. People all over the world were whole villages and city states were appropriated and put into slavery and made to worship the way they said they had to worship. They took away everybody's gods and goddesses. They took away everybody's right to have a connection to the divine. No wonder we're struggling now to remember that we are divine, that we do have a spark of the divine in us, that we are children of God. And a lot of people who are more light workers don't even want to say it's God. That whole word has been completely tainted with all of this bad history to where they only want to talk about, my higher self or the universe. And that's good. But I think that it is, I think of God as a huge collective. I don't think of God as just, something that is an image of a human, but a collective that is, I guess the universe really is also God. But I felt that way since I was a kid. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think of God as the creator of all of this. And I think of God as everything and in a high power and energy, a very powerful energy. I don't know that he is in a human form. I doubt that he is.
Right.
They compare him to light, the sun. And wasn't there like people worship the sun god? And they say he is the sun, he is the light, So
that is one of the many reasons. Excuse me for interrupting, but that's one of the many reasons that the church speaks about the Son of God, is because they used to worship the sun god. That is just one of millions of reasons why they use the pagan or the previous cultures rhetoric, their language, their gods and goddesses, their imagery, their idolatry, their symbols, their clothing. I mean, the clothing of the Catholic Church, the clothing of the Catholic Church very much mimics the way the priests of all through Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Samaria, Egypt, all the way through there, they all dressed like that. I mean, they're
up
just
into having the cobra over the seat of the Pope. Understand what that cobra means. That cobra. See, this is why people have got to learn history. This crown is the crown that controls Upper and Lower Egypt. It is the serpent and this little bottle with a hook. And above the Pope in that dark chamber, he is sitting underneath the head of a cobra, which is proclaiming him king of the world.
Yeah.
People don't know. People don't realize. They've got us trapped in this fantasy, everybody fighting against each other. And we see the one religion that has its fingers in everything, from the children dying in the gas chambers in Auschwitz, to the Native Americans' heads being shaved in Canada and the US, to Africans being enslaved and sent to islands, because I'm not going to say America, because I think that's a whole lie, that were sent to islands. That was all done with on the authority of Pope Innocent. It was the
Yeah,
Catholic Church that said, if you are not Christian, then if they are not Christian, then you can go and enslave them, kill them, whatever you want to. If they don't know who our God is, that makes them a heathen, and they're not even people. You can do with them what you want. And unfortunately, all them people look like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I also think it's really ironic that the symbol so often for Jesus is the fish, and the hat
yes.
that the Pope wears is literally a fish
It's this.
with the snake.
This hat. It is this hat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you were talking about, Tanya, wanting to keep women down, look, they're doing it now. They're trying to take women back to the 1800s because they're saying they had somebody, it was a football player who gave a speech at one of the graduating classes. These kids paid $100,000 and better to go to this college. And he stopped him and said, now let me talk to the women. I know that this is important to you, but the biggest thing that you'll ever do in your life, I know you much can't wait to be a wife and a mother. So what he's doing, not every woman wants to be a wife, not every woman wants to be a mother. So you're like saying because they want a career first, and then they've had them say, well, women, if they wait till their 30s to have a career, they're not attractive anymore, so they shouldn't even do it. They're trying to take away history. They told us Christopher Columbus growing up discovered America. Well, the first person, those Native Americans were here. How do you discover something, first of all, that's already here? And it was the first white man that came that I know of was a Viking, Leif Erikson.
That's right.
500 years before Christopher Columbus ever came. And Christopher Columbus was evil, yet we celebrate his day.
The whole thing is our ancient maps before the 1700s, because that's where they wiped our memory. When the 1700s to the 1800s, everything in history was made up. Okay, that's when the lie began.
That's true.
Was in the 1700s, because Leif Erikson, all these people. Number one, the Americas, they got us believing that there were just Indians going woo 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 woo, running around naked. There were whole cities. There was industry. There was big stuff. And I'm not talking when we got over here. You think about the Wild West, and this was just 100 years ago. These people were living in shacks, but around this whole great continent, there are these giant buildings. Where'd they come from? The people from the Victorian age didn't build them, because we were lied to about everything. Tartaria was a place. Giants lived here. Very, very smart people lived here. What happened to them? I don't know. I wish I did. But our history began in the 1700s. It was made up. Somebody pulled it straight out of their ass.
Book Bewitched said exactly correct. Control the wise women, the witch, and took her powers and made her evil. But they could do it. They could do the same thing, and they weren't evil. When I went to church, I used to sit there and think, well, he's telling everybody like we're in this box and we all have to be what he thinks. We all have to believe the same thing, do the same thing. Women are to obey their husbands and listen to your husband. He's the head of the house. He has the final say, all this kind of stuff. And I used to sit there and think, did God make us all the same? We're all different. Do we all have the same path? We don't. So what's right for this person may not be right for me. And what you said about do no harm, I do think that's the biggest thing. If you can just be kind, love each other, do no harm, don't do things that you don't want done to you. That I don't care what religion you are or what your beliefs are. To me, that's the number one thing I live by. And I think that I wish that the church did more, but they don't. I had, what did this say? Spirit Beyond the Stars says they have disguised the big giants that used to live on this earth, the mountains and the hills, and they have taught us to call them. A lot of them are sleeping giants. Have you ever heard that old what'd she say?
Saying.
Oh, I missed that other old saying. I missed the other part of it.
Yeah.
Spirits. But everything was taken away, she said, used to belong to the people, but now they use it to profit. Well, look, they said, who is it? Tesla said that energy should be free. We shouldn't be paying for that. And at one time we didn't. At one
No, we
time,
didn't.
energy was free. You
It's
know, they
always
had
been
that
free.
big old.
This
Well,
price
They had
went up.
if you use energy, or you transmit energy the way Tesla did through crystals, then
Yeah.
it can be free. He made wireless crystal energy before 1900. He made it, and but that wouldn't make any money, because once people bought whatever it was. But even in the mid uh, 20th century, we had television sets and radio sets that were sold en masse, and they were referred to as crystal sets. They ran on crystals. They didn't have wires because they didn't have electricity running through all of the United States. So people had radios that had big crystal sets, televisions that ran on crystals, and they didn't break.
Yo,
They also
surgeons use crystal.
there was electricity all over Europe. Every one of those big old buildings that has copper spires, that is where the electricity was taken from the air. We're surrounded. We're in an electric field. They have made it to where we can't access it. There are people who know how to do this. Tesla wasn't the only one. Tesla
No, he
isn't the
wasn't.
only one.
Nope.
Everyone that tries to bring this technology to the forefront is silenced. They are done away with by the gas and oil companies, by governments, because we are in a slave matrix. We are here to make money for the wealthy. We are the workforces. That is what they are. That's what we are. That's what we're here for.
They're trying to do away with the middle class. They don't want there to be a middle class. They want there to be
there never was. That's
the elite,
the
and the
levels of
poor.
slavery.
Well, fortunately,
and we gotta
Pluto
rebel.
is in Aquarius, and that is changing. That is definitely going to be changing.
Yes.
Well, Linda Bishop said one time a woman was Pope. I didn't know this. One time a
there
woman
was a female Pope.
Mm-hmm. They found her after she died. Now the new selected Pope has to sit on a special chair opening at bottom. A cardinal has to feel under the chair bottom to find to find male parts. Okay, Colleen, explain. I don't know about this.
The female Pope, she hid her sexuality. She was a very religious person, and apparently she was a really strong Pope. Hence, the old tarot cards, there was a papess and a pap or pope, right? Those were the two cards. Now there's the high priestess and the hierophant, who looks more like a pope, right? There's also the empress and the emperor, but the papess and the pop were the pope and the popess, because it was common knowledge that yes, there was a female pope. But when she died, apparently that's when her secret was exposed. And what, idiotic misogyny, that now they got to feel them up under the chair to make sure that they're men. Like women don't have any kind of spirituality. Sorry, goons, but we have a lot of spirituality. I mean, that's what they're so afraid of. Yeah, but that's what they're so afraid of. I mean, in this era, from 2012, we have been talking more and more and more and more about the rise of the divine feminine. And this scares the shit out of all of those, not just the white men, every man, I think. Just about every man. entertainment purposes
Yeah.
only. But you know,
Well,
this
we were
scares them.
trained to be a certain way. We were
But
trained to
that's
be
why
obedient.
yeah, and
You
that's why
know.
you're seeing all of this rise of these old tactics of trying to control women to, you know, keep them married, keep them pregnant, keep them barefoot, keep them in the kitchen, don't let them have jobs, don't let them do this, don't let them have money, don't let them own property. That's the next thing is they're going to take away credit cards and property and rights like that, you know, but I think that we'll stop them before they can do that. But that is in their minds to make all
Yes.
of this just totally controlled. And it's very,
And they
it's
want
not
to take away
good for the
birth
men.
control too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
birth
birth
control.
control. They want to take away. So you're going to make women that can't afford to have well, you should keep your legs closed. But if a man does something, boys will be boys, you know, and
Yeah.
and you're going to force women that have been raped, that have been murdered. What about a 10-year-old that starts her period young and has been molested or raped? You're going to force a baby to go have a baby. You know, it's crazy. The stuff.
Wait,
I
hold
watched The
on.
Handmaid's Tale, and I didn't
Do
watch it
you
all
realize?
because I couldn't
Let
watch
me,
it.
that's
Go ahead.
before the Supreme Court right now.
Yep.
Them
What,
trying
birth
to
control?
lower or raise the age. It's all about children getting married in the United States. We've got some sicko people
They are.
talking about 10-year-old babies being ripe to reproduce.
They want to make it 12. They want to make that Marion age 12 years old. And then one guy was arguing that he thinks first cousins should get married. This is all the Republican Party. I know this has nothing to do with witches, but it's just, you know, it is
But it
kind of
does.
like,
It
It
does
does
have a
though.
lot to do with witchcraft.
Yeah, it's the subjugation of women in general. That's really the thing because women are really powerful. But I don't think that I mean it probably will get worse before it gets better, but it's they're fearful of our power. They're fearful of our ability to have children and they're fearful of our connection to the divine. They are fearful
yes.
of that. And that's really sad. And I wanted to say too, this is so bad for the males who buy into it. It's so bad. It's not only bad for their souls, but it's bad for their lifestyle that they have to constantly say this horrible stuff about people they love. That's horrible. Or that little boys are taught to think this way. I mean, it's so bad for their soul. I mean, it just makes me so sad for them because most little girls even kind of get it. They're like, yeah, the boys wouldn't let me play baseball with them anymore, or you know, my brother said I couldn't play basketball with he and his friends anymore. You know, they get it at a pretty early age that boys will cut you out and they'll be supported by other boys in cutting you out, and that,
Yeah.
you know, until you have, you know, boobies and lipstick on, you know, they don't want to know you. It's really,
Yeah.
and so little girls get hip to this very young, 8 years old. They're starting to see the writing on the wall and they're going, what's up with that? God, that's dumb. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
and
dumb.
if you dress conservative, you're a prude. If you dress sexy, you're a slut. If you know, it's like women, no matter what they do, if you work, you should be home with your children. If you're home with your children, well, she's just a stay-at-home mom. You know, it's like you cannot win being a woman. And every husband I know of has told their wife, remember, you're supposed to obey. Remember, love, honor, and obey. I told my husband, I ain't going to be no obeying. We're 50-50. We're a team, you know. But Spirit Beyond the Stars said the Pope will make an upside down cross on his body. How that is done, because they start at their forehead, down between their breasts, and then cross shoulder to shoulder. Oh, you know what? I never
It
thought of
sure
that.
is. It sure is.
Wow. I never thought of that. Well, let
Or
me show you
or
guys another video.
instead of the upside down cross, are they drawing a portion of the Kabbalah tree of life? I think that's what they're drawing. They
Can
may
you
not
tell me
know.
I got a question. And what is the tree of life? I see everybody wearing the necklaces with the tree of life. What is that?
Well, the tree of, when you see the necklaces and stuff where it's a big, huge tree growing out, that symbolizes something else. That symbolizes the phrase as above, so below, because the tree roots are as big as the bough of the tree is above. But the
Oh,
tree of
okay.
life in the Kabbalah is a totally different thing. It's the picture that you may have seen where it's got a not a quite a cross. It really kind of looks more like a cross, but with two crossbars on it, not just one. And then it's
Mhm.
got all around it. It's got these circles that are called thank you, thank you. It's so hard to describe. That's the picture of the tree of life, and that's showing the pillar of mercy and the pillar of justice, the dark and the light pillars. And each one of those circles where they have the Hebrew writing, those are parts of the paths of life. And the way those lines connect them are different paths that we all take in our life to get to those different, really, lessons in life. So you learn mercy, you learn beauty, you learn, I can't think of them all right now, but you learn all these various things that are on the tree of life. And the ultimate goal is to get to um, Kether. Kether is the crown. It's your crown chakra. It's the ultimate
Enlightenment.
enlightenment. And once you reach that, for most people, that's when you transition to the great beyond. The bottom of it, the very big circle at the bottom, that's Malkuth. That's where most of us live most of the time. That's the 3D normal world that we all participate in, and we all have to deal with every day. We all have to, have a roof over our heads and clothes on our back and deal with our families. But all of those other circles along the way as you go, the Kabbalah is very complex. It's got all these um, units that make it up, and it's a scholarly discussion that a lot of people have about how is life, the universe, whatever, did it really start? Where is God or the universe? How does that fit in? How does that inform our lives here? How do we learn about the universe and God? How do we learn these lessons? What does it mean? And the Aleister Crowley and a lot of people around the time that the Smith Rider Waite tarot was being designed, we're talking about the Kabbalah quite a bit. So you'll see a lot of that symbolism in the Smith Rider Waite tarot cards. You'll see the pillars behind the high priestess. You'll see in the curtain behind her, it's not circles like the Sephiroth in the Tree of Life, it's pomegranates, but that's pretty thinly veiled. It's like, yeah, okay, the round things that you see in the Tree of Life. Now we're going to put them behind the high priestess. And you see just tons and tons of symbolism in those pictures that came from the study of the Kabbalah, or that represent and symbolize things that are in the Kabbalah. Kabbalah is fascinating. And I could go on. I teach a class on Kabbalah.
I
I
don't
could go
know
on.
much about Aleister Crowley, but I've
Yeah.
always been told, that he was a Satanist, that he was evil, that he was, all this stuff in every movie, everything you see, and you watch supernatural and stuff. They
Yeah.
show Aleister Crowley as being an evil person,
Yeah.
and
They made him
I
look
don't know
pretty
much
bad.
about him. I probably need to read up on him, what he was about.
I mean, he
But
certainly had more than one screw loose, but he was not necessarily evil. He was highly intelligent. He was very, very creative. He was fascinated by Egyptology, and he brought a lot of Egyptian symbolism and concepts into what we now know as Wiccan. And his study and his group was the precursor to the Golden Dawn. And the Golden Dawn is pretty much a witchcraft group that practices what is known as high magic. And people who practice more um, magic that has to do more with everyday life. Some people call it peasant magic or low magic or not dark magic, but magic that is just for every day, that you use everyday things. You don't use like magnificent tools, and you don't have to wear magnificent clothes. You don't have to do these extraordinary things like the Egyptian priests did, or like the Pope and his gang does, but you can use just everyday objects to accomplish your goals. That's thought of more as really like peasant magic. But the Golden Dawn wanted to connect in a much higher way. And they did. They connected more to the other side of the veil, or the spirit world. And they learned from them. They were taught by them certain things, certain rituals they could perform, and how to use really exotic, extraordinary tools. Like the athame is one of the things that really came into great favor with Aleister Crowley. He liked that whole thing about, something that was sort of like a weapon, but also things like a wand just made out of wood, or the symbol of the pentagram, or stones, or, drinking wine, which is something that they do in the Catholic Church too. Fire, incense, feathers, all of those things came in pretty much with Aleister Crowley. And they were, some of those things were used with the people who practice just everyday magic too. But Aleister Crowley bumped it up a notch. He made it mystical. He really wanted it to be awe-inspiring. He wanted people to gasp when they saw things that were done magically. But ironically, he founded a secret society that wouldn't let everybody see what they were doing. So,
That's
but
crazy.
that was right. And that's the way the world was there. If you were doing anything magical, you had to keep it secret because, of course, somebody would lock you up. They'd be like, you're crazy. And one of the things that I find very interesting today is that the people say, like on TikTok, who are talking about magic, they're out there. They just wide open out there. But most people say my age. I don't know how old you are, Tanya. So I'm assuming you're like 25.
I'm going to be 60 this year.
Yeah,
I'm 58.
Okay, so people more our generation who have been practicing witchcraft a long time, when we were first coming up, everything was secret. Siganits, you don't talk about anything, right? You keep it, your book of shadows, you keep that hidden, right? All the things you write down. Well, I don't know, sometime when we got into the 2000s, I was like, why? Why are we keeping it secret? And my coven was like, because it's always been secret. And I'm like, I don't, take a look at we got the internet, guys. Why do we need to keep anything secret anymore? I think we need to share. I think we need to find out where we all are and get together and build consensus and groundswell and let that divine feminine take over the world. Thank you. Entertainment purposes only. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to sell my house, and I wondered, Colleen, if even like, I have my herbs and I have my oils and I have my tarot cards, and I'm like, I'm going to have to hide those, because anybody who comes looks at my house and they see that, they may not buy my house because they'll think I'm evil, or I'm, you know what I mean? And that's couldn't be further from the truth. I try to be a loving, good person, and in everything I make, when I make these oils, when I do these things, I'm doing them out of love. I'm doing them to help, and like you said, as far as the love things, when I make a love oil, I'm not trying to force anybody to come to you. It's like, so you are worthy of love. I loving people. You love yourself. You are deserving of love, because some people don't find love. They don't feel they deserve love. They don't love themselves. Right. So when they use that oil, it's a reminder. I deserve love. I am worthy of love. I am lovable. But it's, everything is to help people. Like I'm making this. I'll show you this thing I'm making. This here is, I had this sit in 8 days, Damiana leaves. And I've got about that much. And then now I'm at the part where I got the water. And what I'm doing is I took a bunch of Damiana leaves and I fill it up with vodka or brandy you can use. And you fill it up and you let it sit for 8 days. I forgot, so it was 9 days. And then you dump out all the leaves and you set them aside and strain them, and you have this. This is my alcohol. I have some hibiscus flowers in there too, so that's why it's kind of purplish. But so because I thought it would go good with the Damiana, and so I put that in here, and then I soak the rest of them with water for 2 more days. When I'm done, I will dump this and strain these and use that for compost. And then I will take the water and I will take the alcohol mixture into a pan, and it's not supposed to be metal, but I'll put it into a pan. And then I take like a cup of honey and then a tablespoon of vanilla. And I like chocolate, so I put like some unsweetened cocoa in there, and you just let that all melt, and you're putting your intention. And the whole 8 days while this is soaking, you take it every day and you put your intentions into it. What you intend. And so once I make this, I'm making it for my husband, and what it does is it helps with headaches, depression, nervous stomach, sexual problems, low testosterone, boosts mental and physical stamina, and it's an aphrodisiac too. So it helps with a lot of things. So instead of I'm learning these herbs, I'm taking a course on medical, how to make tonics and medicinal properties of herbs, so that I can make medicine for my health and for my husband's health. I sell them. I'm taking magical herbal classes now to learn. And some of the books I had was like Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, Green Witchcraft. This is the Papa John's Herbal Magic Workbook of like root workers, things like
You're doing the voodoo and everything.
essential oils for medical reasons. And I'm going to keep collecting these books because I use them as reference when I'm making oils or things like that. But I love them because you can find something to help you with problems, like it's like home remedies kind of thing, home remedies or spiritual remedies.
I love that you're at home making your love potion number 9. That is so fantastic. And I love the fact that you can pick it up and show everybody, especially on this show. We're talking about witchcraft, and you just picked up your potion and showed everybody and explained it. That is so phenomenal. Good job.
And like I found out, I'll show you. This is nettles. I use this for it's been used in folklore and magical practice for centuries to ward off evil spirits, curses, negative energy, but also I have inflammation in my body. And I use this and make myself a tea, and it tastes really good if you put honey in it. And I use this for inflammation in my body. And then I've got mugwort, and mugwort is kind of supposed to be known to strengthen psychic powers, protection, prophetic dreaming, astral projection, but you can also make a tea and it has some medicinal properties. And then this is my sage, and the sage is believed to guard against evil eye, clear negative energy, help connect you to spiritual guides, improves your mood, strengthens intuition, brings wisdom. It just smells good, and you can do things medicinally. Look at me here now. I got my cinnamon. And I put this in my coffee, but it's thought to have protective properties, help with love, prosperity, healing. So I find out all these herbs have things that I can help people with. And so that's what I do when I make my oils, and then put intention in these and put intention in the oils. But I don't see how that's evil or how that's bad. And I am really enjoying it.
And Deann, you're so steeped in this. Putting away a couple of tarot card decks is not going to make the difference between you selling or not selling your house. Here's what you do. You go get yourself a little statue of St. Joseph and you bury it by the front door. You'll sell your house in a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yep.
Where do I get a statue of St. Joseph?
Any religious store that sells, little statues. You can have a little one or you can get a big one. Doesn't matter. You're still going to sell your house. You just got to bury him near the front door. That's it.
I've heard a lot of Catholic people at my work talking about that, and I never ever thought about it. I'm going to try it.
It's true.
Try it.
It's true. Just because you're not Catholic doesn't mean he won't help you. He'll help you.
We looked at two houses the other day. $125,000. Oh my gosh. I paid $85,000 for this, and I have 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and it's a nice house, privacy fenced in yard. I go there. These were junk. I mean, junk. They didn't bother to clean them. I couldn't breathe. My throat was closing up. The banister was all wobbly, and I'm like, my price of my house just went up. If I got to pay that much money for a house, then mine's going up because, next to that. We were worried about, well, we got to fix this, we got to fix that, but I'll do that. Do you guys have a few more minutes for me to show just 2 short videos or talk just a little bit longer?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. All right. I won't show them all, but I'll just show you a couple. Okay. So let's see what I got here. righty, that I wanted to show you. Okay. Get this up here. Is this the one? Okay, this might be it. We'll try this one first.
Did you know there could be different types of witches? First up, you have a cosmic witch. A cosmic witch is drawn to astrology and celestial bodies. Number 2, you have a chaos witch. The chaos witch practices what feels right. They also will not get too attached to any ritual or practice. That leads us to an eclectic witch. An eclectic witch follows their heart and eventually creates a practice of their own. On the other hand, divination witches work with tarot, oracle, runes, pendulums, and more. That leads us into crystal witches. Crystal witches work with crystals, grids, rituals, and just natural items. Kitchen witches use cooking spells, home rituals, and decor and cleansing. Their art is connecting with their home. And don't forget the green witches. They deal with herbology. There's a big list of many other witches, but which one do you think you are?
Okay, so that leads right into me showing you this really quick one that I was telling you about, Colleen, before we started. Okay. Oh, here it is.
Which Mom? What kind of witch am I? Am I a green witch? Am I an herbal witch? Am I an energy witch? No, it doesn't matter. You're a witch. Doesn't matter what kind of witch you are. You're going to have your own gifts and talents. Let those guide you. And if you're pulled to something, it usually means it's because you have a gift, a talent, or a natural ability or natural curiosity that really demands that you bring that gift into the world. So don't question it. Just learn as much as you can. And as you develop, then you're going to know kind of where you're drawn.
Okay, and then I'll show you just a couple more little ones, short ones, since I got them on here. All right, let's see. Witches. Okay.
These are some of the craziest witch trials you may have never heard about.
Oops, hold on. What'd I do? Oh, I thought I lost you. Okay, hold on. Let me get that back. I double clicked on something I shouldn't have. Okay, types of witches. Watch me have lost it. Okay, we'll see what this one is.
But the witch trials are not really about witches. It's about stealing land. Because if you don't like your neighbor, and your neighbor has a nice piece of land, and you want to buy it, and your neighbor won't sell it to you, all you got to do is go to the authorities and say, my neighbor's a witch. As far as we know, none of the people who were put on trial for witchcraft were actually witches.
They weren't witches in the sense that, like, no, they weren't witches, or like they weren't even claiming to be witches.
Right. They weren't even claiming. So any sort of folk medicine, folk practice was automatically labeled witchcraft.
So I thought that was interesting. Let me see if I got that one last little one here. They're short. Okay, let's see. Is this it? Try and see if this is it.
Like,
oh no, that one's the one we just saw. That's the problem. I get too many of them, and then I forget what one I did. How do I have you guys up here twice? Okay, one more try. Let me get one more chance at it here. Okay. Which? Okay. Okay, we'll see if this is it. And if it isn't, then I give up. I give up. Okay. You are not meant to see the other one. You're just not meant to see it. It wasn't that big of a deal anyway. It was talking about stuff we had talked about before, pretty much kind of going into that, the things that they did to these women that like you said, they and people had to change it. They had to change the name. Like you said, Colleen, you call yourself a witch, but they had to change it to midwife, herbalist, medicine woman, medicine man, because, you know, they would demonize. Yeah. But got my teacher that I'm learning the herbs from, she's a master's degree in herbs. a master's degree. I thought, what a cool master's degree to have,
Yeah.
you know, and to
Yeah.
learn all this stuff. She's pagan, is what she identifies as. But,
Yeah.
you know, I love it because we can all learn from each other. We all have our different gifts. And what she said about what kind of witch are you? I thought that too, Colleen. I'm like, well, I like these herbs, but yet I also like making my husband tea and imagining, okay, this tea is going to help his stomach. And I do a circle this way when I want to bring something in, or if I want to make something go away. I've learned to go the other way, but it's all, I'm putting my attention as I'm making the tea, as I'm making the soup, as I'm making whatever. Like my mother put her intention between this chicken noodle soup is going to make my daughter better when she's sick. It's going to heal my kids, you know? So, I mean, women have been doing, I think, what is witchcraft forever. Even our mothers unknowingly blowing out the birthday cake candles is actually make a wish and blow out the candle. That's witchcraft.
Oh, that's a curse. That's a curse.
You go ahead, Tanya.
Blowing the candles out on your birthday cake is a curse. Know that. When you blow, you're extinguishing that. And that was an old one. Yeah, don't do that. Always
Really?
snuff your candle. Yeah.
I've been doing
And that
it
was
my whole
one of
life.
the
Well, I don't do it now.
read up. Don't believe me. Read up on blowing out candles. Just
okay.
Google it and read up on what blowing
Oh yeah, because we
out.
always did that. Even when they're 1 year old, they have one candle.
That's because we were taught it, and it's something that
I don't
goes
do it now
against.
because I don't want
It goes against what we should be doing, and they did. It was on purpose, so everybody just does it. The song, the happy birthday song itself is a curse. Read. Don't believe me,
Really?
please. Don't believe me. Look it up. Look it up. Don't
Where
believe
do I look
me.
it up?
Look
Where
it
do
up.
I look it up?
Google it.
Tanya, where do I look it up?
Google.
Google it.
Google it.
Do you ever
Google
wonder
it.
though, Google, if Google is run by the system too in the patriarchy, and if there's certain things that they don't want us to know on Google that we won't find out, because I wonder if that's why they want to get rid of TikTok, because we're finding out things that they don't want us to find out, like the ice wall and things like that.
TikTok is bringing people together. TikTok is making people mobilize. So when you get a whole bunch of like-minded people that will show up at some place together, that's what the government is afraid of, because they can mobilize on TikTok quicker than they could mobilize over the telephone.
Wow.
It's
Well,
happened before.
you know,
Everything is
I just,
cyclic.
it's terrible.
They
Well, you're
they
told
they
what to
were
believe
after.
as a child.
Huh?
Hmm?
I'm
Would you
sorry.
say?
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry I cut you off.
Oh, no. I was just saying, I got mascara all up my eye. I said they tell you what to believe when you're little, and you're told, and this is what you're supposed to believe, and you do because your mom and dad say so. And if your mom and dad say so, and your grandma and grandpa say so, well, then it's so, you know? And so I've never really, I'm just getting 60 years old, going to be 60 years old. And I'm just now getting to where I am learning a lot of things that I thought were forbidden for me to learn. So I'm really enjoying, you know, you and Colleen and like Colleen, I think it's really a cool idea that we do have these people and stick together and kind of learn from each other, and you can talk to people and not be demonized. I don't have a soul here, I can tell about this stuff. And if I did, they might not even want to be my friends anymore. You know, people that I've known all my life. You know, since I was a baby, they would probably disown me as a friend and think that, oh, she's gone the wrong way. You know, when all I'm doing is trying to use herbs and things to help people. It's just crazy. And it's so opposite of what I thought a Christian should be, is love. I just thought that's what it is. It's all about love, you know? So I'll stick to that being my kind of religion, is of love and being kind to people. And do I fall? I do. I mess up. Do I get mad, say things I shouldn't? You know, I try to do better, you know, but I really think it's cool. I would love to learn. I don't know. I would love to learn about Wicca just to know what it is. You know, I may need to read books and stuff to kind of understand it and what it you believe. We ought to do one time. It'd be neat to do a show one time and learn about that. But this show, it's just, I enjoy this, and we could continue to go on. But um, and oh, I wanted to show you one more thing, guys. My thing, I'm going to show you real quick, and then I want to say something about you guys. It's not a witch thing. It's my what do you call it? My manifest thing. If I got it, where is it? Okay, you guys, that I was talking about my herbs and my oils. I got to show you. See it, Tanya? Can you see my thingy?
Yes.
Do I have it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah,
everybody,
really.
you guys, you haven't seen. This is my little website that I worked my little butt off and haven't slept for a week to figure out how to do, but I'm real proud of it. And you can get here to shop all. You get a gift card. You can book a reading. This, if you click on this, it'll tell you about the custom made oils. I make those myself, and I make them for whatever. I use the guides to help me make those. You can ask me, I'll tell you more about it. Money drawing, St. Michael, the strawberry one, sweet dream, psychic enhancement. It just shows. And then if you hit shop all up here, click in on it, it will come up and be a slow thing. Okay. It comes up and it shows you all the different ones that I've made. I like this triple goddess one, but all these different ones that I've made. And I'm tooting my horn, which I never usually do, but I'm doing it because I've worked hard on this. And where is the little duck? I'm trying to find the duck you guys are on. But so I've been doing all that, and so if you guys want to go there, it's just manifestshop.net. You can check it out and see the things I do. Oh, and I'm trying to make clearing sprays, and because I just don't like the sage, I burn it in here, but not in the bedroom. And I made me a little manifest clearing spray, and I put what do you call it? Smoky quartz and obsidian in it. And I put in this particular one, I've got lavender essential oil because it's been used throughout history against evil spirits. The Catholic Church declared it a sacred plant. Sage, it's got frankincense. We already talked about sage. Frankincense is a symbol of holiness, righteousness. It's supposed to help enhance your mood and diminish stress, anxiety, and it's thought to have high vibrations and drive out negative energies. Vanilla, because it improves mood and relaxes you. It's uplifting and it creates a feeling of safety and security. And sandalwood it has in it. It's often used in protection, astral projection, believed to clear negative energy from environment and brings on positive energy. And then I've got salt because it's supposed to be said to have the power to repel or ward off evil spirits and negative energy. And I got to tell you something funny about this spray before we go, Colleen. I have ghosts in my bedroom. I have had ghosts in my bedroom, fairies. I don't know what. Somebody said they think they're fairies because they're orbs that just like shoom, 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 shoom all over, you know. And my dog sees them. I take pictures. I'm like, holy cow. Well, I couldn't get rid of them because everybody's like, you got to be commanding. Well, Bill's sleeping, and I'm like, I command you to leave. I'm whispering so I don't wake up my husband. So the other day I went and I burnt me some mugwort and sage and you know this, and I was going around the room and saying, you have to tell them they have to get out, and because I don't care if they're downstairs, but get out of my bedroom. You know, I don't want you upsetting my dog. You know, get out of my bedroom. Go downstairs. Like, go get a sandwich. Leave me alone. You know. So I was spraying this. It's so funny. My poor husband. He's when he does sleep, I'll get up and when Sadie was upset, I go and be spraying it, and it worked. 2 days. I haven't seen him, but he said he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Go sleep. I'm getting rid of the ghosties. Go sleep." And he's like, "Oh, Deann, just go to sleep. Ignore him. Go to sleep." But I said I would ignore him if Sadie wasn't upsetting her. So, but it does work. So I made my little cauldron. I got my little cauldron, and you get these little charcoal things you put in there, and then I put my sage and my different things and burn it, and then I was spraying this, and I didn't have a feather, you guys. So here I am with my pink fan, and I'm like, go.
That works.
That works.
It worked. what I had. It's what I had. But anyway, I'm kind of venturing in, learning to do more and more as I learn. And so, and thank you, Colleen. You've been really supportive of me. And I want to tell you guys about Colleen. She is a great astrologer. She is awesome. You got to go to her if you need an astrology reading. She says stuff that you understand. It's not like over your head and you're a deer in headlights going, okay, I paid for that and I don't know what she said. She did one for me and it's like, oh, I understand all of this. Because when they talk about nodes and conjunctions, I'm just like, and I'm trying to look and trying to take it in, but I don't understand. The average person doesn't understand. And she explains it so you understand. And it's really good. Like, isn't it like if you're thinking about doing certain things, what do you use astrology for? When do people come to you for astrology usually, like to find out?
Well, so an initial chart is just about them. The natal chart is just they want to find out kind of, what does astrology say about them and what would their talents be? What kind of direction should they look at for a career or marriage or something like that? So just a general. And then I do future forecasts, which tells you what's coming up in the future. But a lot of people come with specific questions about things like, I want to get married. When's a good time for us to get married? Or we want to sell or buy our house. When's a good time to do that? Or, any kind of big action in your life. It's not bad to get an astrological reading. I mean, it's not required, of course, but it's not bad to get it.
It helps.
So,
well, kings used to have astrologers. They wouldn't go to war without an astrologer telling them this is the time to go to war. This is the time to harvest. This is the time to plant. This is the time to. So there is something to it because it's been used for, I don't know how long. I can imagine, probably
millennia, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm sure they were doing it in Atlantis, and I'm sure.
And Tanya, you guys, please subscribe to her too. I've got both of these ladies link in the description box, so you can just go there and click on it and go and subscribe to them. Well, of course, we all supposed to support each other, and Tanya is great. She is a great reader. I'm gonna get this time Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday and Wednesdays at 10:10, and then Fridays at 11:11. And finally got that down. And she reads on anything you want her to read on. She's a great reader. She makes you want to get out of your chair. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm in church, Tanya. Sometimes I want to go hallelujah, yeah, amen. Because
I do get the preaching.
And that's what I loved about her. When I met her, when I seen her, it was like, I have to meet this woman. I have to meet her. And I was so happy that she wanted to meet me too. And I never thought that we'd end up becoming such great friends and doing this paranormal show. And she does sachets, or you could call them a mojo bag, whatever, but she does those and I love them. She puts all these herbs, yes, they smell great. You stick them in your pillow when you sleep at night. I stick them in my bra, depending on what they're for. They last 2 months, Tanya, isn't it? About
2 months. Easy 2 months.
And she makes excellent clearing sprays too. She's been doing it a long time, and she makes bath bombs too. And you still got your special going on?
I do. I still have my special going on. I have a $100 special going on. You can get a 1 hour reading, a sachet with whatever magic you desire in it, and a room spray. I have a few of the 4 ounces left, but I'll still do the special with the 2 ounces as well, because you're still saving. With the bundle, you're still saving about $5. So, yeah, I'm still running the special.
Very nice.
Yeah, and if you want a reading from me, you can book it online. I think I got it fixed up, but if not, email me at deannshieldmaidentarot.com. No, at gmail.com, whatever. And so my brain, I tell you, I'm tired now. Or you can. I was up late last night. I don't sleep at night. I'm up half the night. Or you can call me at 1-833 833-277-8105. So it's 833-277-8105. You can go to my description box and it's all there. The manifest link's there, the phone number's there. So you don't have to try to remember it really. And it's in the description box here too. So I have loved talking about this. Thank you guys for coming on this channel and talking with me. And if you guys are interested in a part 3 or doing this again sometime, I think we could do this again, because there's so much more than what an hour. I went an hour and 19 minutes because when I'm having fun, it's hard to stop. So anyway, you guys, isn't it? I lose track of time. I was on last night for 2 hours. I was so ashamed of myself. I was having so much fun listening to their smell stories and to Natasha's stories. And then afterwards I got to talking to her and it's like, oh gosh, I got to quit that. So you guys, you have a nice evening. And do you have any announcements? Anybody? I didn't say anything, an announcement you need to make before we go? Or did I cover it?
I just got shows coming up. Just go to my community page. You'll see all the posts. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Same here. So, by the way, we're going to have the party. We'll have a party soon. You guys will all be invited. I'll let you know on the community page ahead of time. And I have to tell you, I had a good week. My grandchildren got adopted 2 days ago. And so I have legally I already love them. We've had them for 4 years. They're my grandchildren already without the piece of paper, but legally they are my legal grandchildren now, a little brother and sister. And we're having a party. I was going to have Linda G come on the channel on Saturday, but my daughter's throwing a adoption party for them, and I can't not be there. You know, they got to be more important than my shows. I can do the show anytime. This is a once in a lifetime thing. So right. We'll have her on later. So anyway, so I got my 5,000. I got my grandchildren. I am just so happy. So. I know it's been a good month. So you guys have a good day and we will see you later. I'm going to go ahead and click my going away music. Okay. Bye. Bye.